Perfect.
Welcome to the Wake.Show. As everybody knows, a show needs an intro. This is that intro. Hi, and welcome to the Wake.Show. How's everybody? Or did you want the extended version this morning, Sam?
I mean, I think we need the extended version.
Fish are in the foreground, Sam in the back. Stuff you should know. And way too many pictures of my dog. Speaking of which, we can start right there since I didn't bring him in today. Good morning and welcome to the Wake.Show from 11:11 to 12:12, Monday through Friday. How do you like that? How do you like that time slot?
Perfect.
Sam? All right, good. 11:11 to 12:12. Now, let's see. Let me check my camera angles on you. Oh, my big fat head gets into that one. Maybe a little tighter there. And there we go. That solid one right there. And we're back. All right, so no dogs today. I apologize for that. So
right.
When we get to the harder news of the day, you'll just have to stare at us. You'll just have to look right at us in our eyes. And there's a lot, man. Let me pull up one thing, and then we'll get to. I'll run down what we'll be talking about. And
maybe we should just do breaking news first.
See, you see what I'm saying? You see,
there's a lot of stuff going on.
There's a lot of stuff going on today. I want to put some kind of a format. We want to have some kind of formatics to the show, and so start off with a little good morning, maybe a personal story, coming off the day before, ease into it, and then get to what on this day, because on this day is about old news and puts today's news in perspective, and then you get into today's discussions, and then what is different about the show? Why do we do this show the way we do it? It's basically is we want to have a place where we can talk about the issues of the day, the news of the day, what's going on in the world, without getting too worked up or depressed over it, right? Schreiner and I started this at when we were doing a show together a couple years ago, and really liked that format. Then they got rid of our show, and he's not even on the radio anymore, and here I am. So I'm trying to continue that legacy a little bit. Also, when it comes to the right wing, left wing discussion. No, it's what's out there right now, but I personally am sick and tired of it, and along with a lot of other people. So this is a forum where we can come together and talk about stuff. Yeah, we're going to have our slants, we're going to have our world views, but in the end, we're going to go, all right, I can see where you're coming from your angle. I can see where you're coming from your angle. And now I'm going to go get back to work. I got to go to lunch and then continue my day. I've absorbed the content of the day. I'm not going to get too worked up. Why? Because we all know there's only so much you can, there's only so much you can control. That being said, well, look at the body of the Wake.Show today. Happy Tuesday, or is it? There's another bombing, another school shooting, and half of Florida's under a tornado watch. Jesus. All right, sometimes there's just wait. And so with that, before we get into, all right, so what do you think then, Sam? Because I really liked Sam's leadership earlier today when I was asking her about this, and I was like, well, should we get into the breaking news first? And she's like, no, we got the format. Get into on this day, and then we'll come back to it. And right as we're starting the show, she just whispers into her microphone, oh man, maybe we should get into the breaking news today because there's just so much of it.
Yeah, I think that we should stick with our format, and then we can get into it.
All right, because there's
we already just laid out what's going on. If people are really, really in dire need to see it, they can Google it before we get to it.
All right, you basically know there's another bombing that we'll be talking about. There's another shooting that was breaking news this morning.
The tornado thing is pretty much the only thing that's affecting our main
here in
area.
Corner. So you can Google that part of it. So let's go ahead and put things in perspective for just a bit before we get to stuff you should know today. Also on stuff you should know in the rundown, Captain Dickhead is arrested. Composting Fido. It's all right. It's a thing. People are doing it. Recycling their animals. Let's see. The paid streaming okay, well, some technology stuff we'll be talking about. Police want our data is the way that I put the headline. It's a little misleading there. In case where crimes now are happening in places, you can get what we call is it geofencing? You can get all the data from an area, and so what they want like all the stuff that was happening on people's phones and personal devices within this one particular story we're going to get to, 17 acres of this crime, which leads obviously to a lot of different questions, moral questions, and we'll come back to that. Also on the show today, other stuff there. It's a happy spring equinox. So much for the most balanced day of the year. Equal amounts of sunrise and sunset. I don't think that's the right way to put it. But here we go. On this day, the headline coming from history.com is that LBJ sends federal troops to Alabama. On this day in 1965, President Johnson notifies Alabama's governor that he will use federal authority to call up the Alabama National Guard in order to supervise a planned civil rights march from Selma to Montgomery. Intimidation and discrimination had earlier prevented Selma's black population, over half the city, from registering and voting. On Sunday, March 7th, 1965, a group of 600 demonstrators marched on the capital city of Montgomery to protest its disenfranchisement and the earlier killing of a black man, Jimmy Lee Jackson, by a state trooper. And this is all, these stories are always extra fascinating for me because for me, they're history. For Sam, they're even more ancient history. But for many of you, you might have been 5 years old. You might be 10 years old, 15 years old. Remember, this stuff like it was yesterday. But for some of us, it's history. I'm learning along the way while you were watching it unfold on television in 1965. All right, what else? What else today? All right, so look up, Sam, see if anything catches. What am I doing? Thanks, Internet, for doing everything I don't want you to do.
It says Tokyo subways are attacked with
sarin gas.
Sarin gas, is that how you pronounce it? Okay.
Yeah. On this day in
That's crazy.
Yep, on 1995, several packages of deadly sarin gas are set off in the Tokyo subway system, killing 12 people and injuring over 5,000.
Those subways are packed to the brim as well.
Yeah.
I've
never been.
My boyfriend was in Tokyo for the summer, but he said that they are pretty tight in there, so I could definitely see it.
I remember at the time people talking about how they were surprised it hadn't happened more, and that it doesn't happen more because it's the perfect place to do something like that.
He said it's incredibly safe there with how many people that they have.
That's something.
Yeah.
So Tokyo police quickly learned it had planted the chemical weapons and began tracking the terrorists down. Thousands of checkpoints were set up across the nation in a massive dragnet. The gas attack was instituted by I'm not going to get this right at all. Shinriko, which means Supreme Truth Cult. Sorry, didn't mean to laugh. People died. The Supreme Truth Cult had thousands of followers all over Japan who believed in their doomsday prophecies because it claimed that personal assets of new cult members, the Supreme Truth, had well over $1 billion stashed away. Well, I didn't even know this about this. Shoko Ashara, a 40-year-old blind man, was the leader of the cult.
Wow. I
feel like there needs to be a series of movies done on this. They're like based in real life, but then include superpowers. Ashara had long hair and a long beard, wore bright robes, and often meditated while sitting on satin pillows. His books included claims that he was the second coming of Jesus Christ, and that he had the ability to travel through time. Well, I am learning that Jesus Christ seems to be coming over and over again. You weren't here last week, Sam, when Chris was talking about Rastafarianism, and I guess the guy that started that or something was allegedly like the second coming, but then was assassinated by the U.S. government.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Sorry. All right, what's next? So the Tokyo subway attack. I know that I saw one or two more things on here.
It says the Black Death is created allegedly.
Yeah, we gotta look at that.
In 1345.
Right, so I haven't clicked on. So here's the thing. I'm going through all these and like Khrushchev begins his rise to power. Tokyo subway, I remember that. Then I see Black Death is created allegedly.
In 1345.
Well, let's click on that and let's see if it takes us right to Alex Jones' website. Black Death is created, according to scholars at the University of Paris. The Black Death is created on this day, 1345, from what they call a this isn't some conspiracy theory. This isn't a conspiracy theory like we were hoping it was going to be. Well, or is it? A triple conjunction of Saturn, Jupiter, and Mars in the 40th degree of Aquarius occurring on the 20th of March, 1345. Well, it's nice to see that we believe in the same kind of stuff these days.
That is
too
crazy.
many of us. The Black Death, also known as the Plague, swept across Europe, the Middle East, and Asia during the 14th century, leaving an estimated 25 million dead in its wake. Despite what these scholars claimed, it is now known that the bubonic plague, the most common ailment known as the Black Death, is caused by the Yersinia pestis bacterium. Oh, it's not because Jupiter and Saturn and Mars all lined up on the 40th degree of Aquarius? Well, son of a bitch. I'm sorry, because you can tell I'm being swarmy, and that's not fair because many of you believe in that stuff, and many of you believe in a lot of other things, so I should just respect that and be thankful that I live in a time and place where you can believe your nonsense and I can believe my nonsense, and we can get together, kind of. I mean, get along together, kind of. All right. What is next on the... Oh, so that's the one I really wanted to look at today. Oh, wait. Joan Jett tops the pop charts on this day in 1982 with I Love Rock and Roll. Do you know that song at all?
Of course.
I love rock and roll. Put another dime in the jukebox, baby. Spot on, Joan Jett.
Yep. That was perfect. It sounded like she was in the studio.
I know, but it's so funny because, in this time that we're living in and... I don't know, a lot of our sexual stuff is out on the table. This is a song, if I remember correctly, she was obsessed with an underage boy standing at the jukebox. I want to say that he was 16 or 17. Let's look at the lyrics. Do you recall?
I actually don't recall.
I think he was 17. Let's see.
Funny.
Let's read some of this and then we'll go to the lyrics first, okay? With her smoldering looks and guitar hooks, Joan Jett had a rock star charisma to rival any man's. Jett burst onto the scene as a solo artist with I Love Rock and Roll, the 3-chord anthem that topped the Billboard chart on March 20th, 1982. I Love Rock and Roll was written and recorded originally in 1975. What? By a British group called the Arrows. I didn't even know that her hit. Damn it. That always pisses me off. When you find out that somebody's hit song, like what made them, I mean, I guess that's all over the place. Some people write better than they play, and some people perform better than they write. I shouldn't get so worked up, considering I am no musician. Whoever made an impact on the side of the Atlantic. Joan Jett heard the song in 1977 while touring the UK with the Runaways, the teenage hard rock girl group that also launched the career of hair metal diva Lita Ford. Following the demise of the Runaways, Jett kicked off her solo career with maybe she was only 17 at the time when she was talking about the 17-year-old boy at the jukebox. All right. That's enough of that. Now I got to go find out. Find out the lyrics there.
There was a high school in Hernando that was evacuated due to a bomb threat this morning, as of like an hour ago. Central High School. I love rock and roll. Put another dime in the jukebox, baby. I'm just trying to distract you a little bit while the world is crumbling
around you. God.
That was beautiful. That was a Mad Lib.
Thank you. Been working on that one for quite some time.
Oh man, the last white rhino just died in the world.
That was actually one of the stories that I pulled out this morning because
that's so sad.
The last male white rhino died this morning or yesterday.
What?
And which he was an old man. He was 45, and they were trying to get him to breed, but he didn't have the strength to mount the young ones anymore, which was his, I believe, his daughters, or one was his, I don't know, something like that. And so he had a lot of health problems, I guess, recently. So they decided the best thing to do was to put him down. They have his genetic material, as they say, and hopes to impregnate the only 2 surviving white rhinos who are female. So we'll see how that turns out. But the black rhino went extinct a few years ago. I don't know if you're still looking at that story or not, Sam.
Yeah.
But and now the white rhino is on the verge of extinction themselves, and it's because they're being poached out of existence. There's, I'm reading the story, and it's still amazing. We're just talking about how on this day in 1345 or whatever it is. I probably shouldn't say or whatever it is when we're talking about on this day, and I was trying to be a little bit more factual. But anyway, and what we believed, what we thought happened at the time. And you had those in power thinking that it was the alignment of 3 planets that happened to be chilling out in Aquarius's armpit or whatever, however they saw it. Yeah, and that's what they. But at the even though that was the officials of the time, there was those others that were saying, I'm sure they equated it to gods, or a god or whatever, and still. We still have the same stuff happening today, the same kind of mythology. All right. Speaking of which, let's talk about the equinox.
Let's talk about it.
And the happy first day of spring, everybody. Have you been shot yet today? Have you been blown up today? Is a tornado taking you out today? Well, good. Welcome. I guess we're in the group that can still move forward for now, anyway. Here's I love rock and roll. I saw him dancing there by the record machine. I knew he must have been about 17. Oh, see that? Well, also she was in Europe. Maybe 17 is of legal age, and I should probably not look too much into this. It was one of my favorite songs of all time. I can't lie. At 1982, at this time I was 9 years old and just coming into my own listening habits, because up until now, it's basically what my parents were listening to, which is either oldies from my father's side of things, or my mom oldies, but also the easy listening of the day, your Karen Carpenters and I don't know, Mamas and the Papas and stuff like Neil Diamond and that kind of stuff. Did you grow up did you have any older brothers or sisters, Sam, that you were influenced by the cool music of the day, or you listened to what your parents were listening to?
My brother is younger than me, so I was the older one out of the two of us, so it was just what my parents were listening to.
So did you have so you didn't have, you said your brother was younger than you.
He's younger than me,
okay.
Yeah. He's 3 years younger than me.
So you influenced him some?
Yeah, a little bit. He developed his own taste. He started playing a bunch of instruments when he was young, so he kind of has his own music taste separate from mine.
All right. Happy spring equinox. So we got through all the on this day that we wanted to get through. I think that was it. I don't think there was a lot. Now, if you guys ever want to call me on it, please do, and go, I can't believe you skipped over this story. It's the most important story in the last 50 years. Just put it in the comments. That's cool. I don't know stuff. I'm just a curious person, so I'll pull up on this day and click on things that catch my eye. Same with Sam.
I have a crazy quote of the day. It's one of those coincidences that's just uncanny.
Well, I love that stuff.
Do you want me to read it?
Please do.
All right. So the quote of the day, according to thequotationspage.com, is from Dwight D. Eisenhower.
Okay.
And it says, I like to believe that people in the long run are going to do more to promote peace than our government. Indeed, I think that people want peace so much that one of these days governments have better get out of the way and let them have it. That's pretty crazy that's the quote of the day today.
Yeah.
Who's just tying into events.
Who is it by?
Dwight D. Eisenhower. Just interesting.
So is that a quote about having faith in humanity?
I honestly like that. I'm just going to put it out there. I'm just going to put it out there.
Read it again for me, please.
I like to believe that people in the long run are going to do more to promote peace than our governments. Indeed, I think that people want peace so much that one of these days governments had better get out of the way and let them have it. I'm not going to try to decipher it. I just think it's funny that's the quote of the day, and there's a lot of crazy stuff going on today.
People, what drives people more? The want for peace or the want for control of your environment. So you would vote for or pull for or get behind the person that you perceive is going to do a better job of controlling the factors that set you off, make you mad, shouldn't be, and because ultimately that will bring peace for you if you get somebody who thinks just like you and then forces everybody else to do the same things that you and that person believe in. Well, then that's peace. I guess that's peace for some. People's want for peace. I don't know, Mr. Eisenhower. I mean, you were obviously a very wise man, very accomplished. But I think what that's saying is you have to. I think that's more politics, and what he's trying to say in that moment is government get out of the way,
probably, yeah,
and let people
govern themselves,
govern themselves, because in the end, people are going to bring peace to themselves quicker than government. I can see some truth to that.
Yep. So take that as you will.
Take that as you will. I like that. That is on this day for today, the most equal day of the year. The sun will be up the same amount of time that it is down. Which, if you think about, our ancestors and our ancestors for generations. I mean, even now, there's still plenty of people on the planet that'll be observing this day as some kind of a magical day. There's some kind of connection to God or gods or whatever, or this is the day you're supposed to do this or do that because there's this perfect balance. The only balance is the amount of time the sun's going to be up versus the time it's going to be down, because obviously it does not balance out everything in the day. As you can see by looking at your screen now and the stuff you should know. Tornado watch, spring equinox, another shooting, another bombing, police wants our data, paid streaming surge, composting Fido, and Captain Dickhead arrested, all coming up on stuff you should know today. How much more time do I have you, Sam? I would imagine it's getting close to saying goodbye to you.
Yeah, a few more minutes.
All right. Well, let me go ahead and just get into stuff. Oh, wait, no, I feel like there's... Oh, wait. Before we get into stuff you should know, I knew there was something I wanted... I could hold it till the end of the show, but I think before we get into this... Wait. This... I think I pointed... What?
There you go.
Yes. I'll figure it out one day. I do want to play something for you guys.
Oh, yes.
So, over the weekend, let me pull off stuff you should know now because we'll come back to. My wife and I went to Key Largo. You ever been to the Keys?
I haven't, actually. I hear it's lovely.
It is. It's only the second time I've ever been. It's only been Key Largo. I've never made it to Key West.
Cool.
One day. And a great wedding, really good time. A friend of ours, she was in the wedding, and then there was this luau on Friday night after rehearsal and karaoke after that, and the wedding on Saturday. And Sunday was recovering, and Monday back on the road and getting home. Well, and Max says there's no balance in Minnesota. It's effing snowing. So there's not a lot to that. But it was really cool to, when you're just hanging out with family and friends and whatnot. And my wife and I have been talking about, we just got married last year, and if we're gearing up to possibly maybe have start a family. Ooh. So there's a lot of kids around, and it's one of those weekends, and people getting married and all of that. So I'm expecting that to tick up for her a couple of notches. I don't know that it did, because we're hanging out with some of our friends' kids. And there's a lot of cuteness that comes along with it, right? But there's a lot of work that comes along with it. There's a lot of energy that comes along with little ones. So it was interesting to watch my wife bob and weave in and out of trying to be the playful aunt and getting annoyed enough for all right, you guys need to settle down, that. But there is this one moment where one of the little ones... And by the way, how do you guys feel about people calling aunts and uncles like friends of the family? That's aunt so-and-so, uncle so-and-so, even though you're not blood related. I know it's very common. This is no tirade on it. But I'm getting ready to play something for you. And, this is Hannah, and she's calling me Uncle Chris, and her sisters call me Uncle Chris. But we were really good friends, and I understand that dynamic. Sometimes people like us and Aunt Lauren, that's not really Aunt Lauren either, are closer than actual blood relatives. So where are you on? Sam, did you grow up calling anybody aunts and uncle that weren't blood?
I did, yeah. I think it's
okay.
I think it stems from a respect thing. So not calling it, if you're a small child, not calling it
Bob,
Chris, Chris, Lauren. It's more just a respect thing. I feel like just Uncle Chris, Aunt Lauren, that type of thing.
But it makes me laugh when I hear a little kid call their parent by their first name. It just makes me laugh. And I know we should force our children to respect people even before those people have earned respect. What? Huh? Where am I going with this? I'm not quite sure. I'm just saying that sometimes I feel like we might force our children to respect people And maybe those people should work to earn the respect of the 2-year-old.
Yeah, but then at least you're not going, oh, this is my friend Hannah, and she's like 8.
Oh, okay. I guess.
So I think it's just like something like that too.
All right. Elliot says, baby fish sticks. No. I call every single person uncle and aunt so-and-so. That way my son won't be afraid to walk off with strangers. Good. It's good parenting right there, buddy. Good parenting.
That's funny.
So anyway, Hannah is my niece, one of my nieces. I'm going to use air quotes. And she's hilarious. I guess she's in a phase right now where she's a huge fan of the circus. So everything is the great this. So the great Uncle Chris is doing this, or the great Sam would be doing that. Cute, right? Well, you're like, come on, buddy. You're not getting ready to play us a video of somebody's kid that I don't even know, because it may be cute to you because you're Uncle Chris, but we don't know the damn kid, and it's not going to be cute. Well, we're going to learn this together. You know what happens on Thursday mornings when I come in here after karaoke and I play for you guys some karaoke stuff? I'm like, oh my God, you got to see this. This guy crushed it. And then we play it together and I go, oh, well, he didn't do as good as I thought because I was caught up in the moment. Well, this, we may learn, is the same thing, where I think it's good enough for the Wake.Show come Tuesday morning, but we'll soon learn that it's not. I hope the adore. So here's the thing. This is her top 3 favorite jokes coming from I think she's 7. Some uncle you are. Hey. Yeah, I think she's, I don't know, 8, somewhere in there. This is not it. And we can do that. Her name is Hannah, by the way, and I did get permission from her mother to do this. For those of you going fish, is, you also realize you just videotaped somebody else's kid and you're about to put him on on your show. You should run that by the parent. I ran it by the parent. By the way, Hannah wants to be famous like every millennial or every kid these days. So after she told me her jokes, is
that her autograph?
That's her autograph. That's her autograph.
That's going to be worth a lot someday. You should hold on to it.
That's what she says. So here we go. This is
she's so cute.
This is Hannah with her top 3 favorite jokes of all time on the Wake.Show.
Baseball player loses home.
Oh.
How did the baseball player lose his home?
How did the baseball player lose his home?
He made his home run.
What's your second favorite joke of all time?
How did the lobster get to the ocean?
How what?
How did the lobster get to the ocean?
How did the lobster get to the ocean?
By helicopter.
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 And what's your third favorite joke of all time?
What did the bride say when she lost her bouquet?
What'd the bride say when she lost her bouquet?
Oopsie daisies.
Oopsie daisies. Perfect. And that right there, that is good, solid kid humor. Have a great day.
She's so cute.
She is. That's Hannah. And there you go. So what was it?
That was cute.
Here's the thing, man. Radio's changed a lot, right? Or media's changed a lot. And I came from radio. I did radio for a very long time. And then as the internet, took hold and social media, being on the radio, just, it wasn't good enough anymore. You had to do this stuff online, right? So I'm getting beaten in my head over the last, 5-8 years. That you need more content, need more of this kind of stuff, like from your personal life. Well, for me, I can't. It's like everything in my personal life, I have this very dichotomous relationship with. On one hand, I go, oh my gosh, that's kind of cute, or that's funny, or that's might be interesting, and go ahead and record it or whatever. On the other hand, I'm like, nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares about any of this stuff. They have their own stuff in their own life. So when you see me bring up those kinds of videos from my personal life, please know it's me trying to find my way, trying to figure out the content that is worth putting on for my personal life versus the content that's not worth. What was that face? Was there some update on something? Did you just click on an ad that sprayed poo in your face?
No, I was reading. Did you see that Cirque du Soleil performer who passed away this weekend in Tampa? In the middle of the show, no. He fell from the rope.
Oh no!
Yeah. Did you see the big tent over? I think it's like exit 49 or something on I-275.
No.
They put up. Cirque du Soleil was touring in Tampa the last couple of weeks, and the last shows were supposed to be this past Sunday, but I guess on Saturday night, one of the really experienced aerial performers fell from the rope and died. So that's what I was reading that. So.
Well, my condolences. I'm sorry.
I know.
I didn't.
He had a gorgeous little girl, like his little daughter. That's why I made that face.
Oof. That's all right. Just all right. So
rest in peace.
Yeah,
Cirque
rest
du
in
Soleil,
peace.
super cool.
You ever done one of those shows?
I haven't seen it, and
They're
I
awesome.
really, really would love to see one.
My wife and I did the.
There's one in Disney Springs, I think, that stays there.
Yep. We did a couple. What was it? Zoo. I don't even remember now. Zoo something. The Cirque du Soleil. Zoomanity. Zoomanity.
Yeah,
that's what it was. We did Zoomanity and one other one too. I can't remember exactly the title of it, but they're just.
They look like a lot of fun.
Well, they're fun, but they're also, for lack of a better term, awe-inspiring. Like you just sit back and you're just in awe of the things that humans can do.
Yeah.
With a little bit of leverage, a little bit of momentum and whatnot. All right. So let's get to stuff you should know. Now that I've got that out of the way, I'm glad you got. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed my niece Hannah.
She's cute.
And her.
I like the helicopter one.
The helicopter. How does a crab or how does a lobster? I don't remember the setup now.
Get out of the ocean.
Get out of the ocean with a helicopter.
All right.
That's it.
I'll
for
let you take the hard news.
Backwards. Yeah. Now we get to the rough stuff. Now it's just you and me. You and me.
Lauren says it was Mystery that you guys saw.
Oh, Mystere. Yeah, Mystere.
Oh, that's what it
one.
is. Yeah.
That one was a little odd.
That sounds cool.
For those of you that ever done mushrooms or LSD or something like that, come on, focus, you damn thing. Focus.
That's what it was like.
Come on, you can do it. Focus. What? I'm throwing off the lens today. See, you're leaving and the cameras don't like it. They're like, no, bring her back. I feel like my hand's in portrait mode. There we go.
There you go.
Nice and focused in the foreground and horribly out of focus in the background.
All right, come down to see the cake when you're done.
What do you mean to see the? Oh, wait. Should I even mention that? You should not even mention it, right?
You can mention it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But nobody heard you anyway. It doesn't matter.
If you go on the Bake More Pies Facebook page, you can pull it.
I don't care about seeing it. When is it? We're going to be allowed to get at it. That's tomorrow?
That's today. The cake
That is today?
downstairs, yeah.
Okay. Well, then I'll see it a few. I'll see it 12/12. Baby fish sticks. That'd be something else. Mystere. Lauren, if you're just joining us, I was telling everybody how you and I were having some interesting conversation as we were, hanging out, enjoying the time with our nieces and our nieces this past weekend. So I was, hi, Danielle. I was also trying to convince my wife to pull the goalie this past weekend. I was like, come on, honey. It's that time. We've been, married a year and this and this and this. And she's like, no, we might be going on a cruise next year. And she, because next year there's going to be a rock cruise, one of those things. I've never done it before. I've always wanted to. Flogging Molly does one like every year. I've done one for years, around this time. Matter of fact, I think they're on the boat right now. So anyway, next year, there's one leaving Tampa the week of our anniversary, right? There's one of those rock cruises that have all these bands leaving Tampa, and we'll be out at sea during our anniversary, and she and I never got a honeymoon. And then her favorite band of all time, Andrew McMahon in the Wilderness, or her favorite artist of all time, whether he's with Jack's Mannequin, Something Corporate, or Andrew McMahon in the Wilderness, is headlining. So the stars are Jupiter and Uranus. I can't remember which ones are aligning, but something's aligning for us to have a really cool anniversary cruise. So, of course, she doesn't want to be, pregnant during that. She doesn't want to have just had a kid if we're getting ready to do that. So now she's like, well, what about that? I'm like, listen, you make the call, honey. You make the call. Whatever you want to do. You want to have kids? Let's have kids. I'm in. Let's do this. If you don't, no worries. I'll head right down and get snip. If you want to do a little bit of both, I could go store my stuff, snip, not have to worry about it. And then if we ever decide to do something, we can do something. Or we'll just have a Yorkie farm. I don't care, honey, as long as I do it with you. Look at that. Look at that sweetness right there. Publicly. I bet, I know I was making a little bit of a joke in that second, or felt like I was making a joke, but it's not. I don't care as long as I'm doing it with you. That is true. I want to do life with you. And if that includes kids, great. If it doesn't, great. Love you, honey, if you're still watching. Danielle. Screw a cruise. Babies are better, and your clock is ticking. There's always that's true. That's true. Elliot does bring up a good point, honey, and that is there's always 1,000 reasons to wait, to put it off. I think that's why people just kind of start taking chances. Man, I'm gonna have to switch cameras here. I'm sorry about this. Let's see if I don't know why. Ugh, jeez. Then there's that angle. Sorry about that. I don't know why all of a sudden this thing does not want to. Now I know there's a button that I could hit. Actually, let me try that. Let's see if there's like some auto thing. It doesn't want to interact with me. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can do something here and change it. Well, I don't think that was it. This. Ooh, that one. That's not gonna get it. As I come back here, hey. Hold please. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do the old turn it off and turn it back on. See what happens. Trick. When in doubt, reboot. See what happens here. Yeah, let's get this bad boy. Worst comes to worst. Let's see what angle that. Oh yeah, that's a great one. Nope, still being difficult, are you? Oh wait, I think we're back. Oh yeah, we'll call this one the triple chin cam. There we. Oh yeah. Blah, blah, blah. That was another thing over the weekend. Before sorry. I'll get the stuff you should know. I promise. We'll talk about some real stuff. Newborns love rock show cruises. Screw the kids, do the cruise. If you need a kid fix, babysit my 3 for a week, and you'll agree. See, that's the thing. Hanging out with our nieces over the weekend. There are those moments where you're just smiling. You're like, oh yeah, I'm ready to do this. And there's other moments like, oh my God, that is a lot. And it's not that they're being bad it's just, it's a lot of energy, a lot to deal with. And so, there's this little balance here. Do you feel like you have to, did you feel like you have to have kids? Like it was a legacy thing, you have to pass down the name and all that kind of stuff. Or if you're a woman, you're like, it's just something that drove you. Like, I just know I'm meant to be a mom. I want to be a mom. That's what drives me. Because for me, well, that's saving us money. My wife says they can't have the alcohol, which, honey, that's good because that shit's expensive. And if you already had the baby, you can have as much of the alcohol as you want. You're good. By the way, honey, this is all for fun's sake. I would never have a serious discussion about our rearing of children, whether or not we're going to have kids in this kind of setting. And I meant what I said earlier about what I'm happy either way doing life with you. So I don't need kids. It's not a part of, like here's a buddy of mine. Not only needs kids, but he needs males. He had a daughter or two. And like he's spending tens of thousands of dollars right now because he's so GD fixated on having a son, and that stuff to me is very foreign. I think it comes from a different. I don't know, just not me. Legacy is not. I don't know. You have one go at this. If you're 75 or 85 or 105 years is going to be over before you know it. And I just want to make sure there at the end when I'm sitting there taking my last breaths, I'm going, all right, I did. I got in as much as I could in those 46 years. However long I'm going to be around. Right, let's get the stuff you should know. Hold on, let me check the oh, damn it. You're crazy, Lauren. Have the baby and make Andrew the godfather. You've seen him enough times in concert. Doesn't he have a punch card where every 40th concert he will be your baby's godfather? Don't tell her. Don't give her that idea, Danielle. Son of a. My relationship with my wife has already clouded my relationship with Andrew enough. muddied my relationship. Put up a poll. They can just have, what are you saying? They can have you just have to give it to them in the room. Oh, put up a poll. Want someone to take care of me when I'm, yeah. Oh, that's a good one, Maribel. To make sure that you have somebody to take care of you when you are, in your older years. That's a good one. So what you're saying is the purpose, at the top of your list, the purpose to have children is for end-of-life care. You want to make sure you birth your own nurse. Well, then you have to do what so many other parents have done over the years, and you have to make sure that they you F them up so much that they feel so attached to you that in those moments they would never make any other decision but to take care of you. I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing. He couldn't come to the wedding because of his new album, so seeing him for an anniversary is already a consolation prize. All right, so I guess Danielle, I think after this, I think this is my last week of this letting this portion of what I'm doing gestate, kind of come into its own. Where starting next week, I want to make sure either via video phone, Skype or Messenger or something like that, or in studio, I have a guest. And I want to talk to those people who are influencers around town in the Bay Area, people that are just interesting, people who I think are interesting. And Danielle, you're up there at the top of the a list for me as far as people I respect and think other people should hear a few stories from. So I don't know what time you get out of work after your. By the way, for those of you guys who don't know, Danielle is my former producer. And she is the morning show. I shouldn't say that. That is being very disrespectful. She is the morning show host at Magic 94.9. And I was just lucky enough to have her cross my path early on in her career. So I'd love to have you on the show. Ross, how you doing, buddy? Braces, yep. All right, let's hit some stuff because, by the way, if you're just joining us, the Wake.Show is Monday through Friday, 11:11 to 12:12, 11:11 a.m. to 12:12 p.m. We talk about the issue. This is kind of my approach. My since I worked with Schreiner, and I feel like I have to give him some credit here in the beginning because this is what he and I saw what talk was missing, and that was just being cordial, a little bit respectful, and I know that. I know this is mostly entertainment when we're watching the cable news. Well, it's that infotainment, right? It's that balance between talking about the news of the day and sparking and stoking those emotions so that you become more of a passionate viewer or a listener or a reader. But what it's turned into is all these shows where we go, here's our hot topic. Oh, this will get them going. Ugh. Now let me get some jackass from this side and some equal jackass from this side, and let these two jackasses go at it for a little while the rest of us get worked up. Oh, I agree with this guy. Oh, I agree with this guy. And then just continue that vicious cycle till we're all ready to start a civil war here in this country, when the fact of the matter is we are living in the most amazing times in the history. Well, all right. We are living in some amazing times. Think about it this way. If you were living a million years from now, all right, we've got colonies on other planets. We've figured out how to, zip right through space time. We cut a little hole in the universe, and next thing you know, we're halfway across the universe in just a couple minutes, and we're in a completely different era. You would be if you're going to school at that time and you're studying different times in history, you would be looking back at this time going, "Holy crap, that would be a cool time." That would be a cool time to exist as all of these discoveries and technologies, advances in medicine started to come to fruition. Yes, for those of us that are in it, it can be scary because these are all great changes that are happening too. So it doesn't feel right. There's a lot of anxiety that comes along with it. These are tumultuous times as well. Look at today. It was hard. I think it's by half the reason I even got the stuff you should know yet is because I don't want to. Spring equinox is kind of cool. All right. First day of spring. That seems like it's setting you up for a nice day. But then immediately, we're half of Florida under a storm or a tornado watch. Right after that, 2 students, suspect injured in another school shooting. Right after that, as they're tracking down now the serial bomber, or is it copycat bombers? What's going on in Austin, Texas? There was another explosion this morning with FedEx. And on and on. So for those of us that are in it, it's easy to get focused on all the crap that is coming along with these times. But if you can separate, if you can get up on the hillside every now and again and look down at all of this, you can go, holy crap, from what we're doing in space to medicine, technology, artificial intelligence, the things we can compute, the things that we can predict. This is amazing. We live in the most amazing times, but it's really hard to stay focused on all the positive, cool things that are happening right now because I don't know if it's just a basic law of things, but there seems to be an equal and opposite that comes along with these times as well. So for those of you a million years from now in the future, if you think it's all, gravy during this time, well, maybe if you had $1 billion in the bank, you can create a world that's all gravy for you. Otherwise, everybody has their trials, tribulations, just like you do a million years from now. All right, let's get to some of the other stuff you should know, or stuff in the news today. And thank you, by the way. So what I'm doing with this show, is it blurry again? Seriously? It is. I'm sorry. I do not know what's going on. I'm sure it's probably just a simple fix. If I just knew how to do stuff, probably just hit a button and it wouldn't be blurry. God damn it. What about this? What if we use this one? I haven't used this camera in a long time. Whatever. Look a little bit more red, but whatever. So I've switched over to the webcam. That's what I've switched over to, the webcam on this machine. Not even one of the fancy cameras that we have in here. All right, so let me pull up the rest of what I have for stuff you should know today. Sound good? Let's do that. Tornado watch, equinox, another shooting. Guys, do you know the details in that? Do you want to know the details in that? That's getting blurry too. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I can't be focused in on today. Plus, God, that just looks horrible. Oh, that's one of the things I wanted to bring up too from over the weekend is so when you're taking pictures, right, with your wife and she looks really, really hot and you look really, really fat, that sucks. And so I think maybe, because I've been fat shamed plenty of times in my life. I've had things happen that make me feel like absolute crap, but I don't usually succumb to being shamed. I double down. You try to shame me. It's just goes way back. I think it's part of how I can, how I've been able to be on the radio or do something like this because, people are judging you constantly. I think Elliot made that point yesterday or maybe it wasn't Elliot, but somebody brought up as I was trying to go live, from wherever I was. Where was I yesterday? Hold please. Let's do this. All right. So, I was trying to go live from a rest area, or I did go live from a rest area for a couple of minutes. And so somebody made a comment, those people just sitting on that bench are judging you. And I said, well, no matter where you are, there's always somebody judging you. I think that's just the way it works. Those are just, and if you have to get over it, you can't think about those people ever, or else you can't be you. We can constantly get in our head. There's somebody, usually it's going way back. It's early, childhood, it's parents, grandparents, teachers. They think in the moment that they are making you a better person by being a complete asshole and correcting you to make sure that you're going to become the good person that you're going to be. And so the next thing you know, you get to your teen years and your adult years and you're terrified that no matter what move you make, somebody's going to be judging you. Well, the fact is somebody probably is, but it's low percentage. Not everybody, but somebody is. If you're up on stage and you're talking, somebody in the audience is judging you. But the way I see things in that moment is I'm just providing a canvas in that moment for the other person to project their own fears, their own ugliness, their own insecurities onto me. if I'm on stage or in a moment like this or, on the radio. And the way I see it, and whether it's the karmic kind of thing or, you get to the end of something and there's a final judgment, I believe that's part of the calculus that affects your life. The way that you judge others, the way that you perceive in those moments when you think you've got all the information you need to condemn. Those are the moments that I think the universe goes, thank you. Noted. All right. Now I'm bringing in my old religion like there's something writing everything down. But, all right, another shooting. Let me get that graphic. Let me get that off of there. Bombing, we know about that. All right, before I get to my next story, let me see if there's... It'll mean you're Kevin James. Wait, what? Maybe I should start at the bottom, at the top of that. Get Adam Hazel, get Doug Bonner. Why do I know that name? Hold, please. Hold, please. We got 10 minutes left in the show, and I promise... damn it, I shouldn't promise anything. Why do I know that name? Doug Bonner is the only man I can trust. You guys... He's a local hero, tribal. You'd rather hear about my life, Jeff? What? What about my life? When you're fat and funny with a hot wife, it means you finally... Oh, ready for NBC. When you're fat, funny, and have a hot wife, okay, I guess I'm ready for NBC. Well, not that funny. It means you're Kevin James. Oh, good setup, good execution, Adam Hazel and Elliot Hoops. Set him up, knock him down. I know that. I have to look him up now. You say he's local? Doug Bonner. Is that him? I feel like I know the name, like he's either a friend or I've had him on the show or something. Let's see. What? I'm looking up something. Hold, please. You can stare at my fourth chin while I look up something. Who the hell is Doug Bonner? Bonner, Tampa. You guys are going to have to help me on this. Comments, one word. Thank you, Adam. Thank you. Now I remember who this guy is, and it does go way back. It is, oh wait, that one's fuzzy. I remember now. Back when I worked at 97X, he's an enigma. We don't know who he really is, but he always replied with one word. And wasn't it always great pick? Or two words? Wasn't it always the same thing? We would just say great pick no matter what we posted, just great pick. And it became a thing with all of us that ever worked there. And I don't know if he's still doing it, if there's still such a person or not, but that's that. Okay. So let's get to... these last four stories here. We'll do these last four stories. All right? Then I'll try to figure out what's wrong with my camera situation here and why it won't focus on me. Getting there. We're getting there. Come on, you son of a... You SOB. All right. This one. So did you even know that the Parkland shooter... Nicholas Cruz had a brother, in that his brother had been warned to stay off campus? Well, he's been arrested because he didn't want to follow that warning. That's not the story I've highlighted. We'll come back to that. So let me just get to this one right here. Zachary Cruz, 18, had been warned to stay away from the school where his brother, Nicholas, had been accused of killing 17 people, right? So here he is. Let me pull that up for you there. There you go. So that shows Zachary Cruz crying at his brother Nicholas Cruz is arraigned at the Broward County Courthouse in Fort Lauderdale on March 14th. So that's him there. So he was arrested himself. The defendant Cruz surpassed all the locked doors and gates and proceeded to ride his skateboard through school grounds. What do you think he was up to? If you haven't already read the story, what do you think he was up to? He wanted to sit in the moment and absorb what had happened. Now, as a crazy person myself, I can understand that, going to sit in a moment and go or whatever, and just kind of reflect. Okay, but if you're the brother of a mass murderer, and they've already told you, hey, it's not a good time for you to go on school grounds. As a matter of fact, legally, you cannot. Then go get in the moment. Go reflect somewhere else for the meantime, But this also makes me wonder, when I see something like this, it also makes me wonder, because we already know that his brother has some mental health issues. So, Fish, is that saying that you have mental health issues? Hey, no, not necessarily. Not those kind anyway. But it makes you wonder now if the brother is in a different world himself, if he is disconnected with reality because he doesn't even have the wherewithal, the basic logic to go, you know what, like I said, for me, I'm one of those kind of people, I don't want to say energy type people, but to go sit in a moment and reflect on it and breathe it in and just kind of get calm, and whatever rushes in kind of thing, I can relate to that. But if this was one of my brothers and this shit went down, I wouldn't be trying to sneak on the campus to go have that moment. I'd understand. I'd get it. I can go reflect on it down at the Burger King while I'm having some hash browns. So the reason that he was there, according to the report, the defendant Cruz stated that he unlawfully entered the school property to reflect on the shooting and to soak it in. The arrest comes about a month after his brother entered a high school and shot and killed 14 students and 3 faculty members with an AR-15 semi-automatic rifle. Prosecutors have said they will seek the death penalty against Nicholas Cruz. So that is that. Yeah, we'll get to police want our data. As we were talking about earlier in the show, and if you go ahead million years and look back at this time, there's so many things to get excited about, right? You go, oh man, I would love to go live back in those days and experience that. But if you're in it and you don't have that acumen yet, you can't see the future yet, it can be kind of scary, like this following story. And the Raleigh police are asking Google to provide user data for all people near crime scenes. Police in Raleigh, North Carolina have, let me do this for you, presented Google with warrants to obtain data from mobile phones from not just specific suspects who were in a crime scene area, but from all the mobile devices of all the people in 17 square acres. I can see this, the first argument that pops up is, well, if you're not doing anything wrong, don't worry about it. We need to catch this criminal. There's some shit going down. Access everybody's phones. Let's find this guy or gal. But on the other hand, this is our privacy, our rights. You're allowed to be in an area where, you're allowed to be an acre away from a crime scene and not be, roped into the investigation without. What is that, the 14th Amendment? I'm sorry. I'm not even try. I believe it's in the story somewhere. The 4th Amendment. Yes, 4th. The request will trouble Fourth Amendment advocates, as it could be seen that police are carrying out unreasonable searches on people who just happened to be in the area at the time the crimes were committed. And the area sizes the police requesting the data are not small. In one instant, police requested user data from Google for anyone within a 17-acre area. For its part, Google has not revealed whether it has complied with the police request yet. How do you think this is going to play out? How do you think this is going to play out? Is this one of those things that is eventually going to end up in front of the Supreme Court? All right, so we have a reason why this camera is the way it is now, according to James. The camera opened up the bottle of wine already. It took my advice and at the beginning of the show just started drinking, so it's blurry-eyed now. As a matter of fact, the camera's just fine. It's you. It's not even your screen. It's you. Whoops. Hi. Welcome back. So is it all right? So So you're a million years into the future. Then what's the answer to this? How should we look at it in this time? You go, no. You guys need to stand and fight against this kind of stuff. You got to make sure that you protect your privacy every step of the way because it is about to get crazy. Or do you go, guys, you're getting worried over nothing. Your world is getting connected. The human organism is connecting with itself from all angles, all aspects. And yes, it seems very scary right now, but just give it a little bit, and you guys are going to be just fine. You'll figure this phase out, and then look at it more like these are the rapids. This period in our evolution, we're in some raging rapids, and it's a little crazy, but on the other side of it, we'll be okay. Granted, this is life, so you lose a few along the way in the rapids, and it does suck for a few people along the way, but in the end, we'll still make it to the 10 million year anniversary of the human race if we're lucky. Enough of that. Next. Oh, so this is one of the things. Every day. Let me tell you how I prep the show. All right, so that's personal observation and stuff like that as you're interacting with your world every single day. But it's also here's what I go through. First, there's Twitter. As I'm sitting on the toilet or bored somewhere and start sending stories to myself, and they could come from anywhere. And I guess Facebook, kind of the same thing too. And then after that, as far as when I sit down in the morning and go through the headlines and whatnot, it's Tampa Bay Times, ABC Action News, WFLA.com, Bay News 9, Drudge, Reuters, FARC, AP, Yahoo News, Google Trends, and that's it. So today when I click on ABC, this is one of the things that, I don't want to say depressed, but like it just, and their headlines may have changed, in the last couple of hours, but it was like everything was negative. Second bomb threat in 2 days in Hernando. 2 injured, gunman dead at school shooting. Man allegedly kills girlfriend, young daughter. Explosion rattles mail facility near San Antonio. Large job fair in Lakeland on Tuesday. Whew. Okay, there's one. There's a job fair today. Is there a job out there where you don't have to follow the news? Florida governor signs 30 bills into law. People using bug spray to get high. Oh, well, I'm sure it's not. Brother of Florida shooter arrested for trespassing. Florida woman accused of gouging mother's eyes out. And Cirque du Soleil Tampa death under investigation. So that's when I was like, oh my God, I gotta figure out something out. We gotta dig through some other things and try to find some other news today. But I almost feel like this streaming surge thing is not even worth talking about when you're weighing it against all the stuff that's happening today. It is just kind of an interesting fact, especially for those of us in the in this world, in the streaming world now, and where we are. U.S. households with paid streaming services surged 450% in less than 10 years, in less than a decade. And yet another sign of streaming media's growing dominance in the entertainment industry. The majority of U.S. households now subscribe to at least one digital video streaming service, such as Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Hulu, with a surge of original content driving consumer adaptation or adoption, according to a new survey. This is the 12th, Deloitte's 12th annual digital media trend survey shows that streaming video adoption passed the halfway mark in 2017, with 55% of U.S. households now subscribing to paid services. So over half of U.S. households are now paying for your Netflix, YouTube. Do you pay? I guess you probably pay for that YouTube Red or whatever, RedTube or whatever that is. Or is that something completely different? Next up. Okay. All right. Well, this is not necessarily a happy story, but it is an interesting one. Let's cut to here. Composting your pet. Yes, it's a thing. As they show right there, the image of a woman making out with her dog. Laura McDonald keeps memories of her dog Coda close to her heart. She wears Coda's dog tags around her neck. It's just a way to remember her, Laura says. Like many pet lovers, Laura didn't consider Coda just a pet. She was a member of the family. She was my best friend for almost 16 years. She was patient and loyal and sensitive. We all feel the same way about our dogs. But would you put your dog in the compost heap and just so your dog can become part of the everything else that let's get back to the story. She went everywhere with me. We did everything together. I really miss her. Sorry, I lost my place. I was looking around at other things. My bad. The thought of Coda being gone forever devastated Laura. Then she heard about something called Rooted. It's a Bellevue-based company. It does an 8-week compost of your pet, turning the remains into a rich organic soil. It's completely legal and actually more environmentally friendly than burying an animal in the backyard. Okay. Backyard options are susceptible to animal scavenging and the spread of disease. Our system is impervious to such threats. It sustains temperatures exceeding EPA guidelines, and it stabilizes the consequent compost, says the Rooted co-founder, Paul Shitter. Tell me how to pronounce that name. Shetter? Right there. In the middle. See? Shetter. Paul Shetter. The service costs anywhere from $100 to $700, depending on the size of your pet, about 25% more than standard cremation, according to him. And Laura plans to use Coda to plant a tree. Quote, I can plant a beautiful tree that I can have forever and watch it grow and feed the birds from it. I think that will give me comfort. It's the circle of life, moving on and growing. There's a part of me that kind of I would not. How about this? I'll put it this way: I would not be opposed to this. I would not be opposed to it. I don't know if my wife would be down for such a thing, but I would not be down because I see the universe connected and all that kind of stuff. So as I was sitting out on the back porch and there was a tree that we had planted there, and as it grows, I could easily, in my crazy mind, especially in those, in your downtime when you're on your medicine, and I can definitely, enjoy that moment and go, oh, there's Fido. I can see a little bit of the personality of Fido in the tree in that moment. So I can't hate on this. I don't know how you guys feel about it if you could compost your animal. But if you can bury your dog in the backyard, you can compost your animal, I think is the old saying. And yeah, I would it's not going to happen. I don't think that'll ever happen. I think that would weird my wife doesn't see things like that. Would weird her out, I think, a little bit too much. What? So you're telling me we're going to grind up the dog and then use it as fertilizer? No, that's not what composting is. It's a process. They're decaying anyway. We're just going to make sure it's a fertile decaying that goes right back into the backyard and becomes a part of our living space. No, we're not doing that. We'll stuff the dog. How about, can we just, if we're going to go down that path, just spend the $50,000 and clone your animal. I think that's the way to go. That's the best way to go. But good for her. I believe this next story is a Florida story. Of course it is. Captain Dickhead arrested. Please don't be Florida. Please don't be Florida. It's Florida. Here we go. Florida police report arrest of this man, known to himself as Captain Dickhead. Cops responded to a 1:45 a.m. disturbance at a residence in Sebastian, encountered Pamela Alonje, who apologized for arguing loudly with her boyfriend in the home's backyard. When asked multiple times to identify himself, the boy refused and was being evasive and argumentative with officers at the scene, according to the arrest affidavit. After cops handcuffed the man, they took one more shot at extracting a name from him. at which time he said his name was, quote, Captain Dickhead. Investigators subsequently identified Dickhead as Joseph Boren, 25. He was arrested on a misdemeanor obstruction charge. After 8 hours in custody, Dickhead was released from jail on his own recognizance. Boren is scheduled to appear in court next month. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Cops coming. You gotta get something off your chest there. There you go. Well, I have no commentary. The man was likely hammered and likely is at least half a dickhead. So that is stuff you should know for today. And damn it, sorry for going late. I really want to be on time. I really want the show to be from 11:11 to 12:12 every single day. I just ramble on too much. I apologize. Way too much. All right, so that's that. Thank you so much for being part of the Wake.Show today, and make sure you go to the Wake.Show on Facebook and follow if you could, like and follow. Subscribe on YouTube, and then here we'll be shoring up some things. I think with the Wake.Show, and that is our website online. It's not the Wake.show.com. It's the Wake.Show. Yeah, and ready to have some fun around here. So I thank you so much for being here and being a part of this adventure, whatever it may be. Thank you. Have a great day, and I will talk to you tomorrow. If you guys aren't too busy tonight and you need something to do, come on out to the beach. I'll be doing trivia at Boulevard Burgers every Tuesday night starting at 7 o'clock. And it's about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes. We give away a free beer between every single round. And sometimes to the high score, sometimes to the low score. We want to make sure everybody's having a good time and not taking it too seriously out there. And then on Wednesday night, karaoke downtown St. Pete. And then trivia again on Thursday, Blind Pass at Masteries on St. Pete Beach. Have a wonderful Tuesday. Have as good a Tuesday as you possibly can today.